Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our video number 501, starting fresh and anew on 500s, I guess. All right, so we had a very, very strange Saturday in the Fed yesterday. So let's get right through these games that I watched. Game I was at, but I always do have all my screens in front of me. Couple games that I just spot checked. These games, weird. All right, so Binghamton escapes with a 5-4 victory over a surprisingly resilient Twin Cities Thunderbird team. This game was tied up at 1. The Thunderbirds went up 3-1. And then a couple of quick strike goals by Binghamton got them back in it. And in the end, they ended up pulling out the victory. But Twin City played a lot better than I honestly expected. There was some oddities here, though, too. All right, so we had Don Carter Jr., who started the year on defense. He's moved back up to forward. He gets the first goal, answered by CJ Stubbs in the first period. It was 1-1. Shots are 15-7. Kind of par for the course. Jacob Schnapp, he scores in the power play to the delight of the crowd. Farmer buzzed a wicked shot past McAnanima's ear. Best shot of the night. Ramekers, he tucks in a rebound. Then Durazio scores in the power play. It's tied up at 3. Yates scores just 11 seconds after Durazio. And then just a few seconds later, Jan Salak scores in the power play. So, yeah, we had we had 4 power play goals. Pretty crazy. Now, I don't think that the officiating affected the overall outcome of the game, but I have to say this. Every late November, early December, we see just this huge decline in the quality of officiating. And it's happening again this year. There was some stuff yesterday, or Friday night, that made people scratch their heads. Last week, there was some just totally incredible stuff. This was one of the most inconsistently called games that I've seen in a long time. And what I mean by this, and this goes for both teams, obvious, flagrant penalties, overlooked, no arm raised, but the slightest ticky-tack thing happens. Case in point, about midway through the third period, Boris Babic gets away with a wicked trip of one of the Black Bears. I didn't even see who it was. I just saw the stick come out and the feet go flying. That wasn't called, but called on the same play on the opposite side of the ice was Jan Salak, because his helmet had come off and he was jammed up against the boards. He couldn't get back to the bench. No, you're playing without a helmet, equipment violation, 2 minutes. So, yeah, Carmine Vetrano. Yeah, you didn't see me, but I was waving these at you. So and I hope that this doesn't devolve into something where you do end up with a game that is decidedly, deliberately given to one team, because I've been shaking my head the last 2 weeks. Anyway, 5-4, the final. The Thunderbirds, a tough road trip. 4-10 on the season, a couple of 1-goal losses. Binghamton 15-2-0 on the year. All right, now let's get to this game. Wow. This game got ugly fast, and the ugliness only became more ugly and bizarre. Okay, so yep, Athens. They go in and defend their home turf, defeat the Moccasins 6-2. Now the Moccasins scored first. It was Tucker Scantlebury. Remember that name? He scores not even 5 minutes into the game. Moccasins go up. The Rock Lobsters storm back. A couple of goals by Gallant and Luke Croucher. They take the lead. They never relinquish that lead. But as the end of the first period, started to unfold, going through the second period, conflict after conflict, fight after fight, scrum after scrum, just a lot of nastiness carrying over. This game got really nasty. These two teams do not like each other, and that is a gross understatement. So, in the second period, we had a couple of standoffs. There was a lot of hack and whack. There was a lot of the secret punches, all that kind of stuff. So we get to 1848? Yes, 1848. Set up the sequence. A few seconds before that happened, William Lavalier cross-checked Tucker Scantlebury, and Scantlebury was down for a couple minutes. There's a little bit of carryover play. Whistle's blown. You get a face-off deep in the Moccasin zone. On the ensuing face-off, Joe Mack has a stick come up high, and it did not look accidental from my eyes. So tempers flare once again. Lowell goes over to Jesse Lowell goes over to Tucker Scantlebury, says, "What are you doing?" Scantlebury drops the gloves, starts fighting. So those two are separated. Both get the 7 minutes, 2-minute minor, and then the 5 for fighting. Now there's only a minute 12 left in the period, so the referees say that both of them get off the ice until next period. Okay, no problem. Scantlebury goes off the ice, goes to go to the dressing room, and is mugged, not mugged, but pushed by Elias Thompson, who has been on the IR for most of the month. Why is Elias Thompson not even dressed over at the Monroe Moccasins locker room? Why? So Ben Stefanini, who is also back there because he was sent off the ice as well, he and Scantlebury basically finally get somebody from in-house security involved to get Thompson out of there. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Yes, Scantlebury is he's a pest. He's a rat. He's a Brad Marchand kind of player. But there is a code. I don't care if you're in your own building, you do not go over to certain areas of the arena, like the opposition's dressing room. You don't do that. Anyway, we get back into the game. Later on in the third, Scantlebury starts some more stuff, gets himself kicked out. I would not be surprised to see if he gets a game. Elias Thompson, he's going to have to get something because that was inexcusable. You just don't do it. Now, Thompson did not injure Scantlebury, but you don't go over it. If you are not dressed, you are in the owner's box or up in the crowd or in your own corner going to your dressing room. Those are the only places you should be. You're not in the opposing dressing room. Ridiculous. So, yeah. Elias Thompson, if you're watching, dude, what the heck? Okay. So in the end, anyway, the Rock Lobsters, they added a couple goals late, and 6-2 is your final score. Penalty minutes 50 for the Moccasins, 28 for Athens. I think it could have been more even and a lot higher because again, things were just ugly, and I'm glad nobody got hurt. I will be very interested to watch this afternoon to see what happens. All right, I've gone on a long time about this game, so let's move on. Columbus, yeah, they keep rolling along. They got off to a 4-4 start, and they've won their last 7. So yeah, 5-4 over the PD Ice Cats. This had a couple of strange moments in it too. But anyway, Ryan Galvin scores this 40 seconds in. Columbus is up. It was tied up by Eli Rivers. And then Storjahan just went on a tear and said, I got this. Gets himself a hat trick. Not a natural hat trick, but nonetheless. One was on the power play. We had Tyler Barrow getting involved with scoring. He gets another goal and 2 assists. He's having a fantastic year. Now, on the in the third period, Nick Gullo scores on the power play. At this point, this draws the PD Ice Cats to within 4-3. However, there's a lot of controversy, and the officials took a long look at this. There's a mad scramble right in front of the goal. Trevor Babin gets the puck, does the tuck, and from a lot of fans, what I've heard, it looked like he was just bulldozed into the goal. And the referees say it's a goal. Go and review and review and review and review and review. Finally, they decide, well, there's not enough evidence to overturn this. There's not enough evidence to say, he made this save. He had covered up. He had control of the puck before he was pushed back into his goal. So they count it. Strange. Anyway, Patrick Marcinkiewicz, he scores early in the third. Storjahan ends up completing his hat trick. And then you had Denis Zajac. He gets a goal late, 14:53, so that makes it interesting. It's 5-4 again. But Columbus does hold on for the win. And so now Columbus is in second place. I talked yesterday about these 3 teams only being 1 point apart. So Athens retains their hold on first. Columbus now leapfrogs over Monroe. And we've got ourselves a real interesting race in the Continental Division. With this game, PD getting the bulk of the shots, thanks to that great forechecking system they have. But in the end, it's what's on the scoreboard that matters. Gonzalez actually gets credit this time for the game that he played. Because remember, on Friday, I said Matt Sales was in goal. No, it was Gonzalez the whole weekend. But nonetheless. All right, so that's another thing. Just drives me nuts. It's like, why are we having such a difficult time with identifying the correct player and getting that information correct before you finalize a game report? It's beyond me. All right. In Topeka, Topeka comes back from a beating the hands of the Prowlers and take matters in their own hand. And yeah, a 5-1 win. Now, this game, I have a question, and one of you who might know can send me an answer, I hope. I'm not sure why there was the goal change from Cooper to Jamison Bork at the end of the first period. Cooper, he saved 6 of 7. That was the end of his night. Is he injured? Did something happen that I missed? Let me know. But anyway, Jameson Bork gets his first career start and doesn't go according to plan. Yeah, he had a tough outing. Topeka, a lot of open ice to skate in. And there was a little bit of nastiness here too. Not quite as bad as Friday's game was, but yeah, these two teams are two of the top teams in penalty minutes, so you kind of expect it. Connor Lind, he gets on the board early in the first, later in the first, puts Topeka up 1-0. And then the second period, it's Corey Checo scoring, and then Scott Koash adds a goal. And then 13:39, it is Hugo Koch, who has been playing with a chip on his shoulder. You can tell. Late in the period, it's 19:54. He gets in a little tangle. Slewfoot. You hate to see anyone commit a slewfoot, but a player of Koch's caliber, I don't get it. I just don't get it. So he comes an assist short of a Gordie Howe hat trick. Well, can't say that. That's not accurate because that's a fight. This was a match penalty. So he will be getting a suspension of some kind. It's not the worst slewfoot I've ever seen, but it was definitely attempted. So we'll see what comes up. Koch is not a guy that you see suspended. So he may just get a game or two. We'll see. Anyway, all lost in this is the fact that Daniil Bryzgalov has turned into a fantastic goaltender, better than advertised. I think Topeka knew what they were doing when they scouted him and signed him, but I don't think they were expecting this out of him. He's been fantastic. His last 3 outings has just been brilliant. So everyone was worried when Sammy Bernard got called up to the ECHL because nobody knew at that time how long Bernard was going to be up. You're in good hands. Bryzgalov is phenomenal. So anyway, on the night, Scotty Koash does add a second goal late in the or midway through the third period. So he gets 2 goals and assist. Matt Graham, the only tally for the Prowlers. Bryzgalov kicks aside 32 shots and has himself a game. And the Scarecrows, these 2 teams in 3-game set, they've now split. Of course, game 3 today. Prowlers fall to 11-6, and Topeka climbs up a little bit, 8-4. These 3 games I'm not going to dwell on really long because, again, I really didn't watch them. I just briefly spot checked on all of them. This game was tied up 3-3 at the end of 1. It looked like it was going to be a long, drawn-out game as far as back and forth, and not long time-wise, but just a battle for both teams. And then the Wolves just get shut down. The last 41 minutes, only a couple of grade A chances. Danbury just takes control of the game, led by Noah Robinson with a tie-breaking goal at 5:56 of the second. That was the first of 4 goals in a row. for the hat tricks, and those goals went unanswered. So 7-3 on the win for the hat tricks. They are now 7-8-2. The Wolves fall to 5-8-2. Yeah, not much more I can really say on that. Here we go. Indiana, competitive again and falling short again. Yeah, 3-2 overtime win by the Bobcats. Bobcats, breathing a sigh of relief, I think. They went up to Indiana, and both games were victories for them, but very, very hard fought. The Bobcats really had to work hard at gaining these 5 points. 3 Friday and then 2 last night. So yeah, in the third period, the game had been pretty even. It was 2-1 in favor of Indiana after 2 periods, both goals on the power play, and then Bobcats has turned on the Jets 21-6 in the shots, just obviously controlling everything. And then 1-1 in the overtime session. Indiana gets a first chance, saved by Verostic, and then Justin Daly, 35 seconds in, he puts home the winner. And there you go, it's 3-2. So the Bobcats are now 8-7. Indiana 1-13-2. And again, not this bad. It's just not coming. It's not coming together. They haven't been able to put together a full 60 minutes, except for the one win they had. So that's something that Everett Thompson, I'm sure, is still going to be working on, changing a culture that's there, and getting these guys to believe that they can not just play well and be competitive, but they can win. So that's the next step. All right, in the final game of the night, Biloxi turns the table on the Zydeco, and I am pleased to say that this was not the crazy hate fest that Friday was. Yeah, our penalty minutes was 28. That is 140 minutes less than Friday's game. Of course, 9 players were ejected on Friday night. 1 gets suspended, and the rest come back, and things are pretty peaceful. Josh Rosenzweig, he needed this game after the outing he had on Friday night, surrendering 6 goals in 28.5 minutes. He needed this. He really needed this win. You could tell. I saw the footage at the end of the game when the final horn sounded and Josh was pumped. And I don't blame him. That's a good bounce back win. Connor Green got the start for the Zydeco, 23 saves on the night. It's Yaroslav Yevdokimov getting the game winner, 4:03 into the third. Shots fairly even in the first period. But yeah, the Zydeco, they've been getting a lot of shots, but I don't think their shot quality has been the greatest. So, looks nice, but a lot of these are perimeter shots. And, after putting up 6 on Rosenzweig, I don't blame them for just saying, puck on net, puck on net, puck on net. But, they weren't really quality shots. Austin Weber did have 2 goals on the night. For the Breakers, it was Caden Henry. He continues to have a phenomenal season. He got another couple goals, as did Declan Conway. And he had a goal and assist, both by Yevdokimov and Darius Davidson. And so they end up winning 7-3, despite the disparity in the shots, 40-35. 45-30. Say that again. So, yeah, the Zydeco 2-8-2, and Biloxi now 4-10-1. All right, so closing this out today, tomorrow, big day. There's going to be transactions today. You will see transactions on a Sunday. And that's because everybody's getting everything finalized and shuffled around with the failed reports. Now, heard a message from Dave Smith, who is part of the executive board of the league. He's in charge of scouting and getting players placed in the league. He said that if someone has been picked up in a trade or you know, selected off of waivers, something like that, that they're not going to be facing a potential suspension for the year right away. They have 30 days. Now, who they are, I don't know exactly. But nonetheless, we've already seen a couple teams purge their lineups and just release players on waivers because they're not coming and they're not playing. We'll see more of that today, and a lot of that on Monday, and then Tuesday you're going to see either released on waivers or you're going to see suspended by league indefinitely. That's what it'll say. It's for the remainder of this year. And then they become free agents, and if they want to play and sign with somebody next season, they can. All right, so coming up this week on the Fed League Flash, on Facebook and on WordPress, I'll be doing my stars and standings on Monday because, of course, we have a couple games this afternoon. We'll have power rankings on Tuesday. Do that every 2 weeks, and then news and notes. We'll talk a lot about some of the players that were let go or suspended. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about some of the other stuff that went on. Hopefully, we'll have something finalized with the situation that happened in Monroe. We'll have some information we can give you about that. So it's going to be a very interesting week. But this closes out week 8 of the season. Well, not entirely, because again, we do have 2 matchups. These 2 guys will be meeting, facing off this afternoon. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you're hitting like. Please subscribe if you have not done so already. Trying to get about 130 more subscribers to the YouTube channel. Please. Thank you. Also, make sure you're following me on Facebook. As news happens, I print it there. And we print it there. And then we talk about it here. Thank you so much for watching. And I am Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash. You guys all have a wonderful week ahead. Happy December. It's Christmas time.